Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. You know, it's kind of remarkable and amazing at the dismal ignorance that a lot of Americans are in. I mean, it really, truly is amazing when we look and see what's going on in this system. Now, you have to understand, some of us, we choose to do our own independent research. We actually choose to research things, to check behind the media, to check behind the sources of people who continually keep providing to us so-called information. And, you know, of course, you know, our system expects for us to believe every single thing that it says. And, you know, it's pretty bizarre what's taking place and what's going on right now, because these people have just flat out arrogantly, bold and blankly have played upon the public's intelligence. I mean, literally. Of course, now it's not hard to do. When you hear me make statements that, you know, the people are, hey, when you're drinking fluoride and chlorine, you're shot up with snake venom and monkeypox, when you understand the system of psychiatry, and when you understand the influence upon the minds and what they've done to merchandise the minds and the hearts of people, it's utterly amazing that people actually think that they're actually functioning out their own volition. You know, people actually really truly think that whenever they hear something, that they're actually making rational decisions based upon the information that is presented without the real true knowledge, because we just simply won't go behind these sources and check out to see if what they're telling us is so. I mean, myself personally, I'm a student of history, and I understand history very well. And when I see the things that are taking place right before our very eyes, I don't see nothing about the media. I don't see nothing about our particular government that is actual, factual, and truthful. What's amazing is that they want us to swallow all the information that they give us hook, line, and sinker as if it is credible. But then when we dig deeper and do our own independent research, we see that our liberties are so-called eroding. They're taking them from them. They're doing everything that they can, the government is, to protect themselves against the people. I'm sitting and watching history repeat itself again and again. I have a whole bookshelf up here of ancient Rome. I have a whole bookshelf up here of ancient Greece. I have a whole bookshelf here of different civilizations and how government reacts when certain things take place. And I know what a corrupt government is. I know what a corrupt people is. I know what a corrupt judicial system is. I know what a corrupt system is, period. And if I could say that, you know, hey, folks, everything is fine, everything is going good, we have trustworthy leaders, I would say it, but then I would be lying. And I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to lie for nobody out there, because I don't believe in that. But they pass laws, and all the laws are against us while they get to walk free. It's utterly amazing what's going on. We see that, and I know that many of you hate to hear it, but you have never elected a president in your life. You're playing a game. You're playing a literal game. And I know it's very painful for you to hear, because your heart wants you to believe that what's going on, you can influence it somehow by your vote. Your heart wants you to believe that if we can just do this, if we can just do that. Hey, it's just like our country. They keep continually kicking the proverbial can right down the road, and the debt continues to keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And while they've got you thinking that that they're not printing any more money, that they're not taking any more money from the taxpayers, hey, we're still, Rome is bailing out his people. You know, colonialism is still ruling. The system of Rome is still ruling. America is nothing but just a providence of Rome. And you people, you know, most of you will attack me and get mad because I expect that from people who don't understand, but people who actually do the research, it's very painful. It's like when Pastor Dow gets up here and I start talking to you about Bible truths. The first thing you will experience is a letdown. The first thing you will want to do, because you've had your mind and conscience manipulated. You've been trained very, very well. Your handlers have trained you very, very well. Now, mind you, I've come from the same institutions that you have, but I've chose to step outside of this box, and I've chose to do my own independent research so I can make a rational decision. And I've come to find out that the religion that we've all been taught here in America is a lie. So I use the same sources, the same Bible that people use, that they go to church with so-called every Sunday, to prove that what you're believing is wrong. But then I get attacked because you've been trained. You've had your mind coerced and manipulated by a system that has trained you very well. Most people will get angry and get upset, and I can't blame you. I can't blame you, because who in the world wants to hear the truth? You know, it's amazing. People, you can tell them a lie, and they're fine, they're satisfied, and they can go on in their little old life without any troubles whatsoever at all. At least they believe that until it's time to pay for it. But then when the truth comes, we get angry, we get militant, we start to attack those. And since we can't attack the truth, what we do is we search something within our heart to try to find something about their character or their delivery, the method of delivery that they use that we don't like. Or we'll try to find one word that they say that we personally don't like, to attack them rather than the truth. That's nothing new under the sun. That's the same thing that has always gone on. So, you know, as far as going forward, you don't have no other choice in anything else, especially when it comes to investment. What else are you going to invest in? Are you going to continue to keep trusting in this fiat currency system? It's going to collapse. That's just all there is to it. Will they always try to use paper? Sure they will. But, you know, if you're going to be able to protect your dinner table and preserve your wealth, you're going to have to just go back to the historical fact that gold and silver has always been money and nothing else. And that's what people back things by. That's why central banks all over the world is stacking it. Now, they're not going to tell you that. And then they're going to tell the news media to not tell you that. They want you to put faith and hope in the system. You know, the other day, I did a video not too long ago. Matter of fact, about a year ago from this date right here, I did a video about the banks. You know, when I go to put money into the banks, you know, the bank is smiling, they happy and stuff. But then when I go to withdraw money from my account in the bank, you ought to see the attitude of these people. They look at you as if they're the terrorists. You know why? Because the laws that our system enacted by the Patriot Act, and I told you, the Patriot Act is an act against the patriots of the United States of America. The terrorists, everything that they're calling terrorists. You hadn't figured it out by now? American citizens are terrorists. You don't see no ragheads over here in this country all over the place blowing up cities, countries, and towns and stuff. You see little isolated incidents or things that go on in a civilization anyway, that just normally takes place within a civilization. I said some time ago that surely oppression will make a wise man mad. And of course, that's what the Bible says. And you're watching the American people being oppressed. We just had an untold amount of people just literally kill each other and commit suicide over what you call your Christmas holiday, because the father couldn't provide for the children. And then his wife ends up jumping on him for not being a provider because the system has failed him. And so now the children are embarrassed because they have no toys that they could actually play with because the credit has died up. The father's looked upon as if he's no good. And so the father, he ends up going mad. He ends up shooting his son, his daughter. He shoots his wife, and then he turns and shoots himself because, why? He has no hope in nothing else. We would do wise to take advice from people who are giving us an example of what wisdom is. Like I've always said before, you can't go to someone who believes in a debt-based system and continues to keep functioning out there and continues to keep expanding their debt, following the same policies of the United States of America. You cannot take financial advice from them, because if you do, you're going to end up in the same old crap hole. That's just the truth. And you cannot take biblical knowledge from someone who has no knowledge. That all they do is they go to a school who teaches them what to teach and say, but they have not actually picked up the book for themselves and read it for themselves. So they're not credible sources. They are system trained. And neither can you take advice from a system that continues to keep telling you to trust in paper that is worthless, when we know that sound money is gold and silver. you're going to have to actually take advice from those who are informed, those who are credible resources. And you have to understand the system that has many, that is the power structure and source, they're going to do everything they can to fight against those who have a dissenting view against the whole. And that's just seemed to be all of us, a lot of us, but we're very few in number. I think what I'm doing is I'm coming in here this morning to try to help to shock your mind into thinking. We develop a bizarre behavior in this country that is just unprecedented. I've never seen nothing like it before, even in the history books. I think that there are many places and many things that I see in this country right here that we've actually gone past the moral degradation, the spiritual bankruptcy, and just a total collapse of just rational thinking in this society. I mean, I believe that in a lot of points we've gone to the place of the point of no return. And so that's the reason why that I believe in self-preservation. And that self-preservation consists of preserving yourself and then those who have the understanding that to understand what you understand. Because you don't want to align yourself and associate yourself with a bunch of people who have no clue, no idea, but they continue to keep rehashing. They continue to keep doing the same old practices again and again and again and again. I mean, my viewpoints is different. I could care less if the Denver Broncos beat the New England Patriots. That has no bearing whatsoever on my life whatsoever at all. I mean, it doesn't mean nothing to me. It has nothing to our stature. It has nothing to the people who are coming behind me, who I'm trying to strengthen their character and their resolve. I think that if you're going to find out what the truth is, first of all, you're going to have somebody that's going to say some words that's going to be able to stimulate your conscience. That's going to be able to say something to shock your mind, to be able to go into places, to think into places that otherwise you would never have the opportunity to be able to think or go into if the particular perspective wasn't ever brought up. You're going to have to cut off the TV. You're going to have to stop watching American news media because they're not doing nothing but lying to you. You're going to have to stop putting entertainment and the satisfaction of self above knowledge and above truth. You must develop the spirit of truth within you in order for you to understand how to prepare yourself and prepare those who you say you love around you for the upcoming days that are right before our very eyes. You've got to change your mind. You must change your mind. You've got to change the way you think. You must change the way you function in this world. I'm saying a lot here, and I'm just letting my heart run on right now because I want to stimulate thought. I want to stimulate conscience. And I want you to start picking up and reading. I want you to start checking out everything. I don't care whether it be from a social, political, economic, I don't care what front that it's on. You really are going to have to start doing your own independent research and thinking, because anytime somebody says something you don't like, there's automatically a spirit in you that gets offended. It jacks up and they get offended. But, I've learned over my life, I learned that those who seem to be hated the most, if we could ever slow our own thoughts down and our own attitude and ways, and if we can actually hear what they're saying, I found out that the ones who are usually attacked the most are the ones who are really telling you the truth. We know that the reason why people don't want the truth is because they have hidden reserved fears in their heart. They don't want to change. They fear loss of family, loss of husband, loss of wife, loss of job, loss of being loved. Fear is the main motivating factor in our time that we're living in right now, the reason why people do not want to change. I hope that you can overcome them. I hope that you can actually face it. And I hope that you can actually push back against the system that is pushing against you. That you can strengthen your resolve just so you can enable others to be strengthened. The bottom line, truth always wins out. It always does. I hope I said something here this morning that hopefully that will inspire you at least to think. I told you the truth, and it's the truth straightway.